Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is the second episode of my monthly r/MechanicalKeyboards Reddit review series, and it's already a special one. This month, a little drama concerning GMK fulfillment times has been stirred up, and I thought it would be appropriate to talk about it. For those of you unaware of who GMK is, they're a popular keycap manufacturer known for producing custom-designed keycap sets. Often, these designs are created by community members and sold through group buys. And if you don't know what a group buy is, an easy way to simplify it is to think about it as a pre-order before the product's actually made, which I guess is kind of just like a Kickstarter. Anyways, because of the nature of it, group buys are already known to take a long time. It's not uncommon for a keycap set to arrive at your door a year or even longer since after you enter the group buy. And that's basically because you're funding the production of the keycap set and not just directly buying one that's already been made. And now that everyone's up to speed about GMK and group buys, let's talk about the drama that occurred. In this video, we'll take a look at the original post that started it all, as well as two response posts, one from the keycap designer PWade3, and the other from GMK themselves. And of course, I'll link to all the posts down in the description. Okay, it all started with this long post from Mecxs titled, PSA, GMK reportedly estimated lead times are lies. The true estimate is rapidly approaching 3 years and could potentially be up to 5. This is going to hit a crisis point. This post got almost 3,000 upvotes with tons of awards. And if you try to look for this post now, you'll see that it was deleted by the RMK mods. But thanks to the power of the internet, we can use the WAYBACK machine and take a read as to what he had to say. It is quite long with over 1,600 words, so I'm not going to read the whole thing, and I'll just take a look at some of the highlights. Before I look into it further, as you guys can imagine, this post was removed for a reason, so don't take what they have to say too seriously. In their TLDR, Mecxs claimed that GMK group buys will take anywhere between 2.5 to 15 years to actually ship, and they provided a link to a spreadsheet for their data. These numbers basically are coming from the number of GMK sets waiting to be made and GMK's production time. Honestly, I really couldn't wrap my head around this spreadsheet, and it's a little hard to tell where they're getting their numbers from, but if you want to take a crack at looking at it yourself, I'll also leave it in the description. Anyways, I thought something pretty important was their little note at the top. It pretty much says that their data isn't actually from a good source, and it's mainly their own estimate of how they perceive GMK's production times. It is kind of a self-admission that this spreadsheet isn't really trustworthy, but it is kind of good that they were so transparent about it. Going back to their post, they listed some reasonings for their estimated numbers. This includes things like a resin shortage, COVID, GMK production times, and greedy group buy runners. I'm actually going to skip over all of this because I'm more interested in talking about the response post I mentioned before. So if you're interested in reading the whole post again, it'll be in the description. Honestly, none of it is terribly important and most of it is just conjecture. It kind of seemed like they were pulling facts from anywhere they could, without really connecting it directly to GMK too much. But as you see later on in GMK's reply to this, they actually do a good job of responding to pretty much all of their points. What I did want to talk about a little bit more in depth was at the bottom. They basically did a big call to action boycotting all GMK sets. They said things like stop buying them, cancel your orders, and push back on their lies. These kind of seem like a big overreaction to me, but I won't tell you guys how to feel about it. Especially because we don't have any actual real data and only this one person's estimate, I don't see any reason to act so aggressively. Overall, I thought this post was more about Mecxs' personal distaste of group buys rather than an actual PSA. I can understand that group buys aren't for everyone, but they didn't have to go out of their way to scare people out of them. With nearly 3,000 upvotes, I'm sure some people actually did cancel their group buys. A couple of days after Mecxs posted, PWade3 uploaded a response titled, Some Thoughts as a Keyset Designer. PWade3 is a keycap designer for the GMK sets Taro, Analog Dreams, and Tai T. In their TLDR, they wrote, basically every manufacturer sucks to some degree, and in many ways GMK is the lesser of many evils. PWade3 actually agreed with Mecxs about GMK's timelines being long, but also commented that the quality of GMK keycaps might be worth it. From their experience, GMK has been good at color matching their designs for the entire length of production. It is good to know that even if production does take a long time, they'll at least be able to deliver a quality product at the end. PWade3 goes on to say that other manufacturers have their own problems. EPBT is backed up, and SP may follow suit if they don't get more machines to meet their demand. This shouldn't really be a shock to anyone because we all already know that a group buy, no matter who it's from, is going to take a while to arrive. As for in-stock PBT sets, they basically said you need to have a really good design along with a vendor willing to invest in it, which makes a lot of sense. Vendors aren't going to take a risk making your design in stock if there's no interest in it, and especially if you're a new designer. That means it's not really an option for any new designer or for any niche set to become available in stock, which basically justifies the existence of group buys in the first place. It allows for new designers to enter the scene and for niche small sets to still be funded. And PWade3's final conclusion basically was to vote with your wallet. Mecxs certainly did when they said they canceled their group buys, and I think it's totally a fair option for everyone to do. But don't just go cancel your orders just because someone online doesn't want theirs. Really consider if you want a set or not, and if you think waiting is worth it. And to round out the video, we have GMK's response to all the drama. This was posted by GMK Andy, and it's titled simply GMK Production Update. They admitted that COVID did have a significant impact on their production schedule, but they made the claim that their production line is around 1 year and 2 months out. Whether or not you choose to actually believe this is up to you, but I personally would be more inclined to believe them because they do have a reputation to uphold. GMK Andy said that at the beginning of the pandemic, they stopped taking new vendors, which gave them room to focus on their current ones. Currently, they're still not taking anyone new. The resin shortage that Mecxs talked about in their post was actually acknowledged, and it was basically explained that it did have an impact during the peak of COVID, but has since become less of a problem. A much bigger issue that they brought up was not having a large enough workforce. Due to national restrictions and mandates in Germany and other countries, some workers weren't actually able to go to work. On the brighter side of things, GMK has more than doubled their production potential by acquiring multiple production line machines. But even though those machines are set up and ready to go, they just don't have enough employees to operate them at this time. And also, training new employees to use these machines will also take time as well. But there's actually some great news to hear about the future of GMK, which I personally believe could lead to one of two outcomes. Either group buy production times will be shorter in the future, meaning you won't have to wait forever for your keycaps, or they'll be able to take on more projects, which means more variety in custom keycap sets. And I think both outcomes are pretty desirable for everyone in the keyboard community. And GMK's last point in their post was about another potential cause of delays. To summarize this section, they explained that during the color matching and sampling making process, they basically have to stop a production machine, set it up with sample colors, make the sample keycaps, and then deliver them to the vendor. Then the samples either get approved or another run is requested. A problem arises when multiple samples are needed because a machine has to be stopped every time, and that can cause production delays for other sets. Stopping a machine that's already making keycaps for a funded set could cause those sets to get backed up. This isn't really an easy issue to solve, and I feel like it has more to do with efficiency from both the designer and GMK than anything else. And that's basically where the drama ends. To summarize, most of GMK's production slowdown was due to COVID, so when we finally reach some normality, they'll be ready to keep up with production. And even more so now that they have acquired more machines and are looking to hire more staff to be trained. So the future of GMK is looking bright as long as the pandemic gets under control. I hope you guys got a better understanding of the situation and enjoyed the video. If I missed anything or got something wrong, let me know down in the comments. Next month will probably be a regular Reddit recap unless something interesting like this happens again. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one.